All hail Hypno Toad. He is almighty and ever knowing. He even knows what Dominaria commander you're building, and he's excited. In fact, he wants you to put him in there. But Gitrog, you say, you're not in the colors. I can't put you in there. Shh, he says. It'll be our little secret. Nobody will have to know. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I think we'll keep on this one. We have an enchantment card Bistro. We'll keep on this one. I don't know. I just really like thinking about Gitrog, just like when you're going to bed and him just whispering, just sitting there saying, hey, put me in your Dominaria deck. You know you want to. And it's just straight up just blue-white control, whatever. Anyway, throw Gitrog in there. Nobody will know. It'll be you and Gitrog's secret. If anybody says anything, just act like I don't know what you're talking about. Let's Hypno Toad for you. I don't know. Stuff like that happens. All right, we do draw Delano Warwaste. That's really good. I'm just going to get down Command Tower, and then we'll cover our commanders, and we'll go and pass the turn. We're playing the Gitrog monster, Mr. Hypno Toad himself, Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice the Gitrog monster unless you sacrifice a land. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Then, whenever one or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card. Playing against Brago, King Eternal, the fun police over there. Hopefully, we'll see if we can get out from underneath them. Brago tends to be a pretty gnarly deck. Let's go and get down Lano Warwaste. I think that sounds pretty good. And then anything else, we're going to pass turn to our opponent. Playing against Brago, King Eternal. Flying, whenever Brago deals combat damage to a player, exile any number of target non-land permanents you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control. Typically with Brago, they'll get down some really nasty stuff. Bounce it every single turn. I know I've played a not a Gitrog, but a Brago game to where they get down the, I think, Lavinia? I can't remember her name. It's the blue-white, detain everything. And then that ends up being a lot of fun for nobody. Well, it's fun for the Brago opponent, I guess in a roundabout way. I'm just going to get down Forest, and let's go ahead and go for Enchantress Presence. I think that sounds good. Yeah, we're going to get down Enchantress Presence. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. That way we can start cracking some of these enchantments in our hand. Hopefully get them on Gitrog and start swinging across. The only thing that we are missing is some sort of protection for Gitrog. That's something we definitely want to get going. So we can make the world's biggest Gitrog. And in fact, if you haven't seen this video before, let's say that you're new to the channel, or you maybe came here by way of some of my Dominaria videos. The Gitrog monster, this is a Voltron deck. We're looking to get down Gitrog monster, combine the Enchantress card draw engine, stuff like Enchantress Presence, with Gitrog's land draw ability. And just really start churning through some cards. You can see where we've got stuff like Vampiric Link, Cursed Flesh. We start casting some of those cards, get that additional card draw. It ends up making for a lot of fun. So let's see what our fun stuff our opponent's going to get down. Vincer? Okay. Now with Vincer, exile target permanent you own. Creatures can't be blocked. Okay. At least it's going to get around us. They're not going to be able to exile Gitrog. Because typically when you get a lot of enchantments on there, they can just simply bounce that creature. Ugh. Doesn't really make for a lot of fun. All right, we got Brago swinging in at this point right now. If they want to, they can bounce Vincer, but and they technically they get another activation with that +2 if they want to. But we'll see what they're going to go for. All right, Mindstone hits back on the battlefield. All right, so we draw into Heroic Intervention. Let's go ahead and go for Forest, and let's go ahead and go for Sky Shroud Claim. Yeah, I like that. That's going to open us up on lands, and then we can hopefully start working towards Gitrog. Drawing into Heroic Intervention is a really good draw for this one because it's going to allow us to at least kind of give a little bit of protection from Gitrog. I know our opponent may have some sort of spot removal or at least some sort of bounce spell, but at least we do have something in the hand to give us a little bit of protection. I'm just going to go for not Herborg, but Overgrown Tomb. Let's go and grab Bayou. They're okay with that one. Get both of those. Do we want to shock in Heroic Intervention? Yeah, why not? Let's go and go for it. I'm okay. You know, we got Brago swinging it for 2. You know, if there's an entire board of creatures out there or something like that, I would be a little bit less hesitant to go and shock that in. But just in case our opponent gets some sort of land destruction down, they start blasting some of our lands, I would definitely like to at least pay 2 life this turn to make sure that we're online for Heroic Intervention to kind of stop that from going. And also, let's say that they go for something on Enchantress Presence, because that's really going to allow us to really kind of start cycling through our deck. Now, as far as next turn goes, we're looking at getting down Gitrog. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will leave us 1 more mana open to go for something like Vampiric Link or Cursed Flesh. That will have us being completely tapped out, though, which is a little bit unfortunate. And our opponent did get down Tectonic Edge, so they will be online for Tectonic Edge. So that's something that we can go for. Like I said, if they've got some spot removal on Gitrog, they'll have it. If they do end up going for a Tectonic Edge activation, I wouldn't mind burning a Heroic Intervention on that, just simply because we're going to be getting down Gitrog and trying to stick as many enchantments on there. It might be a little hard for us to kind of get that going. All right, so we got Brago swinging in for 2. That will be 4 total commander damage that they've dealt, putting us down to 24. And let's see if there's anything they want to exile. Okay, opponent's simply just going to go and pass the turn. Now, they will be able to get Mind Stone back onto the battlefield. We are looking at -8. You get an emblem whenever you cast a spell, exile target permanent. So, very, very slowly working towards that, or getting very, very close to a Vincer Ultimate. So, that's something we do have to watch out for. Okay, drawn to Jund Panorama. Let's go ahead and get down let's do this. Let's go and go for Junk Panorama. Let's go and go for the Gitrog monster. We might be walking into a counterspell. If we are, so be it. And we'll go and tap out for one more off the Lano War Waste. All right, let's go and get down Gitrog. And let's get some of this stuff churning. Like I said, if we run into a counterspell, it's not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and go for... Yeah, we've got Heroic Intervention up at this point right now. Yeah, let's just go and leave it up. If they've got, who knows, whatever they've got, we'll definitely go for that Heroic Intervention in response to that. I feel a little bit better going for some of our stuff next turn now that I think about it. So, especially since we hit that land drop, I do like that. All right, we're going to go and pass it on to our opponent. All right, opponent's going to go for Raph. Flash flying. You may cast historic spells as though they had flash. Okay, I'm going to go get that down, and then we'll see what else we're going to go for. Now, we do need to start working towards Venser. We'll be at 9 loyalty. As far as what we've got going on, we do have Cursed Flesh, so we can actually put Cursed Flesh onto Gitrog, and that will allow us to kind of swing in past Venser. So that's something we can definitely work towards next turn, and we can also go for Vampiric Link too. Now, if our opponent does have some sort of destruction spell, you know, they're in blue-white, so more than likely not, we still have Supernatural Stamina if something like that does happen. All right, Palace Jailer enters the battlefield. You become the monarch, and then exile target creature an opponent controls until the opponent becomes a monarch. Yeah, go and get that down. And we'll go and make sure that they target Gitrog monster off this one. We'll go for that to Heroic Intervention. But we are on notice now because they're at least going to be able to keep bouncing Palace Jailer on this one, which is going to be a little bit hard for us to deal with. So we're going to go for Heroic Intervention in response to that. We're just going to give us Hexproof to make sure the Gitrog sticks onto the battlefield, and then see what we can rip into next turn. All right. Get that Monarch token, get that card draw going. Opponent's going to exile their Mind Stone and then bounce that onto the battlefield. But yes, like I said, with them being completely tapped out, you know, they're going to get that Mind Stone back, which will leave them open on 2 mana and only 2 cards in the hand. With Fear, that's going to be only artifact creatures and or black creatures. So we're at least going to be able to push past this sort of a spread our opponent's got going on right now. Now, unfortunately, with that Palace Jailer, like I said, they're going to be able to take care of that. So hopefully we can draw into some sort of protection. I know we do have Alpha Authority that we can put onto Gitrog, which allows us to kind of get around, at least gives Gitrog Hexproof, which will be another way for us to kind of protect them. And then hopefully between Bear Umbra, Cursed Flesh, and Vampiric Link, we can, you know, cycle through a few more cards with that Enchantress Presence on the battlefield. All right, so we got Brago swinging in for 2. That's going to be 6 total commander damage, putting us down to 22. They're going to bounce the Palace Jailer. They're still going to become the Monarch on that one. They're already the Monarch anyway. And then exile target creature and opponent controls, which is they cannot exile Gitrog because he does have Hexproof. Okay, now let's see what we can draw into. We actually have a pretty good turn next turn. We're going to have a land going into the graveyard off Gitrog. That's going to be additional card draw. We have Junk Panorama to sacrifice to get another land going too. That's going to be an additional card draw. And then between the Vampiric Link, Cursed Flesh, and Bear Umbra, hopefully we can cycle, or at least kind of cycle through our library enough to where we can find some sort of answer for that Palace Jailer on the battlefield. All right, yes, we're going to sacrifice the land. Let's go ahead and... oh man, I meant to add that mana in response to that. That's a bummer. I meant to do that Junk Panorama, but that's not the end of the world. Okay, so we sacrifice that for us. We're drawn to Predatory Urge, which is exactly what we needed. The only downside is we don't have Vigilance. All right, let's go and do this. Let's go ahead and go for, let's go and get down Swamp. Let's go and go for Cursed Flesh on Gitrog. Yeah, I like that. Cursed Flesh on Gitrog. We're going to draw an additional card off this Enchantress Presence, and also we still have an additional land drop to make, so if we do run into another land, we can get some of this stuff going. All right, drawn to Thran Dynamo. And then at this point right now, you know, it'd be nice to go for Predatory Urge to take care of Palace Jailer, but our opponent's looking at a -8 on Venser. So at this point right now, we just kind of really need to cycle through our deck to find some sort of answer. So let's go for Vampiric Link on Gitrog. That's going to be 1 black mana. We're going to draw an additional card off this one. Drawn to Drown Your Temple. Okay. Let's go ahead and go for Bear Umbra on Gitrog. That's going to be double green. Then tap out for 1 more off Junk Pan. Actually, let's do it this way. Let's go and get down Drown Your Temple. Let's go for double green. We're going to go for Bear Umbra on Gitrog Monster. That's going to be 1/2 off Junk Panorama and then 1 off the Drowned Temple. That'll still put us, if we rip into Alpha Authority, that's something that might help us on this one. We're almost kind of drawing dead at this point right now, but we still have Alpha Authority to go for. Drawn to Windswept Teeth, okay. Let's go and get that Bear Umbra on there. And it will have Fear. All right, there we go. Anything else that we're going to swing in for? We still have supernatural stamina to go for that. We can go for Thran Dynamo on the back end. The only downside with Predatory Urge is we simply just don't have a way to untap Gitrog. That's the downside. It does not have Vigilance, which is a little bit of a bummer. Let's go and swing it for 7, though. At least we're going to get rid of Vincer. Let's see if we can't kind of get some stuff moving off that one. Let's go and swing in at Vincer. It's going to be a 7/7 Gitrog. Untap all lanes that we control. And we can still go ahead and sacrifice Jun Panorama, too, to kind of put that into the graveyard to draw an additional card. All right. Swinging for 7, we're going to knock Vincer down to 2. At this point right now, we just need to find some sort of answer for Palace Jailer. We can't get in a spot where if we can somehow give Gitrog haste, we might be able to go for that Predatory Urge. I'm just going to flash in Swiftfoot Boots, okay. I forget that you can cast artifact spells off Raft, so I'm just kind of like, what? Let's go. We've got Swiftfoot Boots on the stack. All right, so we got Gitrog swinging in for 7. It's going to knock Vincer down to 2. But yeah, if Vincer wasn't on the battlefield, ripping into that Predatory Urge would have been really good because that's going to give us an option to deal with the Palace Jailer, but unfortunately we can't on that one. Okay, let's go and go for, let's go and sacrifice Jun Panorama. Let's go and tap out for the Drowned Yard Temple. We're drawing an additional card off this one. Maybe we draw into some of our removal spell for that Palace Jailer. We have to exile a card. We're going to get rid of Sky Shroud Claim off this one. There we go. All right, we're going to draw an additional card too. Draw into Excavator. And let's go and grab that Swamp. Actually, yeah, we're going to grab Swamp. Put that on the battlefield. Let's go ahead and get down Excavator. So at least next turn, we have Excavator on Palace Jailer. That's something that we can work towards. Let's do this. Let's sequence it this way. Let's go ahead and go for Thran Dynamo. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Tap out for 1 more. Then we'll simply just tap out for 1 green, and then Thran Dynamo to get down Excavator. Worst case scenario, you know, we're going to probably see Palace Jailer come down on the Gitrog monster more than likely, but at least at this point right now, we do have Predatory Urge on that Excavator. All right, anything else now, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, typically Gitrog, you know, it's a really fun deck to pilot. There's a lot of fun interactions where you're drawing a lot of cards between the Enchantress pieces and all of your lands hitting the battlefield. I was a little bit sloppy during my upkeep, not going for that Jun Panorama activation, so we might have been able to dig into Excavator just a little bit quicker somehow, but we still had to cycle through a few cards to get to that point. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Now, when you're playing against a blue-white control deck like this, against especially Brago, yeah, it's not the best, but it still makes for some really fun magic, and that's what we're kind of going for with this deck. All right, so we got Brago swinging in. That's going to be 2 coming across, and then 3 in the air, 2 for 5, putting us down to 24. There we go. All right, they're going to be able to exile some stuff. Let's see what they're going to bounce off this one. At this point right now, the only thing we're really watching out for is Palace Jailer. And like I said, we can still get down Predatory Urge on Excavator next turn and be able to be online for that, have them fight target creature. Now, speaking of Predatory Urge, one of the absolutely fun, and I don't really necessarily need to call it a combo, but one of the fun things to do in this particular deck is we have Predatory Urge and I think Druid's Call. I think it's a 2-mana enchantment. And so with Druid's Call, whenever creature deals, basically, whenever it's dealt damage, yeah, that's what it is. Whenever it's dealt damage, you can put that many 1/1 squirrel tokens onto the battlefield. And so whenever you end up with the Predatory Urge and that Druid's Call on Gitrog, oh, that's some good magic. You end up with a lot of squirrels on the battlefield. We're also running Cover of Darkness in here, which you can name a creature type. And so whenever you get down Cover of Darkness, you name a squirrel off of that. That's some, oh, opponent's going to go for Vincer activation on Palace Jailer. All right. If we can somehow get... Yeah, it's going to come back next time. They're at least definitely going to be able to take... Yeah, I forgot about the Vincer ability. Exile the +2 ability on that one. So it's going to get rid of Gitrog back in the command zone. I guess technically... until you become the Monarch. All right, so I'm going to get the Swiftfoot Boots onto Brago. I was trying to think if there's any certain way that we could have sequenced that Gitrog line to where it did go to exile if we get it back and they bounce it or something like that. But whenever it enters the battlefield, exile target creature until they become the Monarch. All right, opponent's going to go for Relic of Progenitus activation. There we go. Exiling our graveyard. Just going to cross that off, and then the Palace Jailer is in exile at this point right now. All right. See what they're going to go for. That will be Palace Jailer coming back down, unfortunately. We still have a lot of mana, though. We can still end up going for Gitrog. The only thing is Gitrog will not have haste at this point right now. And then with us having supernatural stamina, target creature gets +2. It's not going to die at this point right now. It's simply just going to get exiled, which is going to stop this from happening. All right, there we go. They're going to grab that Excavator. And now, if somehow we can get the Monarch token, we can definitely get it back. But let's see what we rip into. All right, drawn to Seal of Primordium. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and go for Seal of Primordium. That's going to be 1, 2. At least get an additional card draw for that one. Alright, opponent's going to go for Vincer. Return target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. We still have some mana, and the good thing about them bouncing Vincer, bouncing the Sealed Primordium back to our hand, is that we still get that card draw because we cast that spell. Oh, actually, excuse me, they're going to bounce Enchantress Presence back to the hand. We'll still get that card draw. Draw into Oracle, okay. Now, at this point right now, let's still go ahead and get down Enchantress Presence. It's going to be green, and then 1, 2, 3. Like I said, this is going to be an uphill battle at this point right now, but we're going to try our best, simply just because bouncing that Palace Drill is going to be really hard for us to get around that. Let's go ahead and get down Windswept Heath. Yeah, let's go and go for Oracle. Like I said, at this point right now, we're just trying to play to our outs. We're playing against a Palace Jailer, so Palace Jailer and Vince are just bouncing everything back to the hand at this point right now. So we'll get down Oracle. That's going to be Canopy Cover on top of our library. And unfortunately, we don't have the mana to draw on that. Now, we don't actually have to crack Windswept Heath. Now, what we can do is they swing in with Vincer, bounce a couple stuff back to the hand. We'll have Canopy Cover on top of our library. Yeah, we can get something done. It's not over yet. So we draw into that, get down Gitrog, put it onto Gitrog, then we can put down Predatory Urge, and then kind of start going from there. A little bit of an uphill battle, but we're used to that with Gitrog. We'll give it a shot. Yeah, that Canopy Cover is actually really good. If you haven't seen this before, this is any sort of big Voltron creature that you're running in any of your decks. I would highly suggest running it in there. It's going to enchant the creature. It can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. Now, they do have some creatures with flying out there, but for the most part, if they don't have a creature with flying, and the enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. Now, it will get around, you know, let's say we give Gitrog Shroud, we're not going to be able to target our opponent, target our own creature with our own enchantment. So something like Canopy Cover is going to get around that Shroud ability, allowing us to get some really good stuff going. All right, opponent's going to bounce Oracle back to the hand. Now, we know exactly what's on top of our library, so we're not going to crack that Windswept Heath. Also, another reason why we don't want to crack Windswept Heath is because next turn, once we get down Gitrog, we put that Canopy Cover on there. What we can do is crack the Windswept Heath and then get an additional card draw once that lane hits the graveyard. All right, we've got the whole crew swinging in. That's going to be 4. That's going to be 7, and then 9 coming across, putting us down. Yeah, we're getting down to a pretty low life total. We'll see, though. The opponent's going to bounce Vincer, bouncing more than likely. We'll see Enchantress Presence gets bounced. If we wanted to, they're actually going to bounce Thorian Dynamo. Okay, now that's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's going to put us at 9 mana next turn. That's going to be 7 for Gitrog. That's going to be just enough for that card that's on top of our library with Canopy Cover. All right, they're going to exile Vincer. And with Vincer, you can actually exile target spell or permanent to its owner's hand. So they can bounce a land drop back to the hand. If they do end up bouncing Enchantress Presence or one of our lands, it's not the end of the world, because once we do get down Gitrog, it's going to allow us to make an additional land drop. So either way, we still should be able to get down Gitrog and maybe in this weird position kind of stabilize. But at the same time, we're also kind of playing against Vincer with the going for the ultimate with the -8 ability on that. All right, opponent's going to go for Vincer, return target permanent to its owner's hand. Let's see what they choose on this one. They're going to bounce Enchantress Presence. Okay. All right, we draw into that Canopy Cover. Let's go ahead and get down Gitrog. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be just enough with that Windswept Heath. We're going to have to crack it in response to that. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for that. We need to get as much card draw as possible. If they have some sort of spot removal, they're going to be able to use it in response to Canopy Cover anyway. So tap out for one more on Bayou. Let's go ahead and get down Gitrog. Let's go ahead and crack that Windswept Heath just to get that additional card draw. Or if they've got a counterspell, that'd be definitely another way to kind of take care of Gitrog. Alright, opponent's going to crack Mindstone in response to that. Alright, Gitrog enters the battlefield. Let's go and crack Windswept Heath. We're going to be able to draw an additional card off this one. Hopefully it'll be another land or something. That'll help us kind of start churning out some more stuff for the turn. Draw into Mana Confluence, okay. And let's go and get a forest onto the battlefield. We've already searched up Bayou and Overgrown Tomb. So at this point, we'll just go and grab a forest. There we go. Get that forest down. Let's go and go for Canopy Cover on Gitrog Monster. Now, the only downside is that it can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. The only downside is it's not going to give Gitrog reach. That's one thing that we're not going to be able to gain access to. All right, opponent does have 4 cards in the hand, so we're going to see if this is going to be spot removal time or not. All right, oh, there we go. Oh, brutal. Opponent's going to go for Eerie Interlude. Bouncing Vincer. Oh, the humanity. Yeah, there's nothing we can do in response to that. We tried. Oh, man, we tried to live the Gitrog dream. Oh, excuse me. No, they're going to exile at the beginning of the next end step. Never mind. All right, so we're going to get that back. Oh, excuse me. So they could bounce Vincer. And the way they can stack the triggers is they can have Venser enter the battlefield, bounce Canopy cover back, while still going to get down Mana Confluence. Yeah, that's a bummer. Good play by our opponent. Anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Yeah, once they enter Venser, they're going to be able to bounce target permanent back to our null. We'll see if they set up the stack correctly. They're going to be able to get those creatures onto the battlefield. Need to make sure that they set the stack up correctly. They need to put, actually, I think with all of those, because it still has Canopy, it still has technically a Shroud. So they can't, all they can do at this point right now is use Venser to target Canopy cover, because they have to put it on the stack with some sort of target, to my knowledge. So actually, I think we might be okay, other than them being able to bounce it next turn. Yeah, okay. But they're still going to get the bounce in from Brago, too, so they'll be able to take care of them there. There we go. They're going to bounce Canopy cover back to the hand. Anything else? Nope, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. All right. Opponent will be able to swing in for a bunch. We got Reflector Mage bounce and Gitrog back to the hand, and then all that fun stuff that Brago likes to do. But we tried to live the Gitrog dream today. We got really close to it. Our opponent unfortunately had the Interlude in their hand, which allows them to kind of exile some of those creatures. That does remind me, so Ghostway kind of has that same style effect. Deep Freeze has power and toughness, loses all abilities, and is a blue wall, and it just shoots others types. All right, there we go. We're going to freeze Gitrog over there. But yeah, as far as Modern goes, I was playing Ghostway was a really popular Modern deck for a while. Not for a while, it was kind of popular for about a month or so, and I was playing against somebody who's playing Ghostway, and Ghostway basically exiles any number of target creatures and then put them back onto the battlefield. So you're just trying to generate a lot of extra enter the battlefield value stuff, and so I had Trickbind. I love running Trickbind in my sideboard, and Trickbind is a 2-mana counter target activated or triggered ability. And so, yeah, come on through. That's fine. And so my opponent went for Ghostway, and at the end step, I countered the triggered ability of bringing the creatures back to the battlefield. So that was one of my. I don't play as much Modern as I used to, but that was definitely one of my top 5 favorite Modern plays that I've ever done. So since we're getting beat up by enter the battlefield stuff right now, I thought I would at least kind of highlight that. All right, opponent did go for the. I guess they could have gone for any sort of. Oh, they're going to go for the Return Venser Shaper back to the battlefield. I thought they didn't really bounce any creatures on that one. All right. Oh, there we go. Return Venser back, and they're going to bounce. See what they bounce back to the hand on this one. They send Bayou back to the hand. Okay. I guess they could have bounced a few more creatures or gone for that minus ability. All right. So Bayou's in her hand. Drawn the Swiftfoot Boots. Let's go and get down Swiftfoot Boots. And I'm not entirely, I guess they technically could have bounced a few more stuff to kind of take care of Deep Freeze. But let's go and do this. So we have Thran Dynamo. They have 1 mana up. Can we get this done in a turn? I'm not really entirely sure why they passed the turn. What's going to be the best option for us? And let's do this. Let's go and go for Swiftfoot Boots. I'm going to get that down. Let's go and equip that onto Gitrog Monster. What we can do is activate the Seal Primordium to get rid of Deep Freeze. And then we'll start going there. Put that on there. That's going to be 1 mana that we're tapping out for off the Lano War Waste. We're going to crack the Seal of Primordium on Deep Freeze. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. I was going to get down Enchantress Presence. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to get down Canopy Cover on Gitrog. That way we have a little bit of extra protection on there. We're going to draw an additional spell off that. We'll see if we rip into a land for the turn. Draw into Bajuka Bog. Okay, at least kind of take care of some stuff out of our opponent's graveyard. And at this point right now, they don't have any flying creatures, so we're at least going to be able to swing in. Well, actually, yeah, technically, if we swing in, what's going to end up happening is they're going to be able to swing in on the back end. So either way, but we'll still go ahead and send a message and swing in at Venser. Just got to get rid of Venser. I don't mind doing that. All right, exile opponent's graveyard, and then anything else. Yeah, we're going to push into Venser, knock him down. But like I said, once we swing in, or if we don't swing in, that's going to be almost lethal, basically, coming across, especially with the Farah and God of Polis on the battlefield. All right, let's go and swing into Venser. That way we don't get that extra ability. Swing it in with the old Gitrog Monster, and then we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, Gitrog is definitely, if you've never built an Enchantress deck, I highly suggest building it. It's a lot of fun. One of the things that makes me really enjoy Gitrog is, you get to draw a lot of cards with Gitrog with a lot of land abilities, and then when you combine something like the Enchantress card draw engine, it just makes for like a really fun game experience. Like you can tell during this game, we lost. Brago got down and bounced a bunch of stuff back, but simply being able to kind of churn through your deck and see what you can draw into, see if you can find an answer by ripping through your deck. Our opponent's sitting at 76 and we're sitting at 71, so we didn't dig a lot deeper than our opponent, but we still did get pretty deep. All right, opponent's going to go for Flicker Wisp on that one. But as far as combat damage in there, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will be 11 coming across this turn. So we're going to let that come on through and then do commander damage. If they don't swing up the whole crew, we'll go and scoop it up. Because I think last time they could have sequenced some stuff to where they bounced some creatures to kind of get rid of some of our what we had going on. But yeah, it looks like they're going to swing with the whole crew on this one. The whole blue-white fun police with Brago out there. That's why blue-white control exists, to make sure we don't end up with a really big Gitrog monster on the battlefield. All right, put us down to -8 with that Brago trigger on the stack. Hope you enjoyed today's Gitrog monster. Definitely did. It's always fun getting those enchantments going. In fact, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.